Good afternoon and welcome to this Ask Asia on this beautiful sunny afternoon. Excuse my throat, as probably lots of you with all this changing temperature and rain, etc. I lost my voice for a couple of days, which was a bit of a relief from a few people, I'm sure. But it's mostly come back. I might just have to overcome my little hoarseness. So Phil and I have just been writing our quarterly market update, and so I thought this was a good time to share some kind of key ideas with you. It's still in draft form, but I think there's some good information that might help you make a decision depending on what your situation is right now in Lex. If you don't get one of our quarterly updates, by the way, and you'd like one, then let us know. We send it out to all properties of a certain value, so usually around 500,000 and above. So if we haven't caught you in that net, let us know, because we'd love to make sure that you get our quarterly update. It's free, it's several pages long, it takes me and Phil a good few days, if not weeks, to write between us. It's full of information and advice, and I think you'd find it really useful, whether you're buying, selling, or neither. So, excuse me, just pass my water, please. Thank you. So this is the Spring 2026 market update. Thank you. That's vodka in this room. So first of all, it's not been the nice calm start to the year that we hoped for, to give the Lake District property market a chance to recover from its huge highs and lows over the last few years. We have had, a real bull bear market scenario for many years now, since really COVID. In fact, when we opened Ashdown Jones, and we're just 9, so well done us, 9 years old. 4th of April 2017 was when we opened, and that's probably the most stable market we've known. And then obviously 2 years in and 3 years in, we got to COVID, and then we had the post-COVID bounce, and then we had the post-COVID bounce depression, and ever since then it's just been one thing after another. And at the moment, it's Trump. So thank you, Mr. Trump. He is making sure that the markets still feel volatile. We literally had somebody this morning pull out of a sale because of market volatility and the world economic situation. But sometimes that just means cold feet by a different name. And I think that, we know that any degree of confidence is always good for the market, because it means you can predict, it's stable, you know what's going to happen around the corner. But at the moment, what we're looking at is building on confidence very slowly, and what's happening is the market is building on confidence from the bottom upwards. So we did have quite a strong January, strong-ish February, and then it started to slide a little bit as sort of the world economic situations started to impact things like is it called the Gulf of Hormuz or the Straits of Hormuz? That issue and the fuel. I don't actually watch the news because I find it just too distressing. So Phil has to fill me in on what's happening. And apparently last night, you heard it here first, but probably not first, was a ceasefire. And Trump is doing his best to try and repair the damage that he's done, I think. What that means that hopefully will lead to more market stability, and that usually means falling mortgage rates, more mortgage products, more affordability, more market confidence. So over the next few months, we hope that this will feed into the market and give more confidence. So our crystal ball predictions is that once the clarity is back and the certainty and the kind of confidence that people know what's happening in the world, then the markets start to stabilise pretty quickly. We find that in the Lake District, the second home market has been impacted more over the last 2-3 years than any other market because of the legislation and increased financial burden on second homeowners. But people still need to move house, and there's always a market for the top of the market. What's that? The doorbell. Sorry, we've got a very melodic doorbell that I didn't actually recognise that sound. Probably just delivery. And so there's always a buyer. There's always buyers at the top of the market. There might not be as many, but there are always buyers there. So if somebody wanted to spend £10 million in the Lake District right now on a house, they'd find that actually pretty difficult. If they want to spend £3 to £5 million, plenty of options. In fact, the year we opened, there was only think 7 homes sold for over £1 million in the whole of the Lake District National Park. 2 years ago, it was 38. Now that's partly as a result of increased inflation taking those properties over the £1 million mark, and partly just because it's been a really buoyant market. Now, probably not so many. It's probably going to be down in like the early 20s this year. And the most expensive house sold in the last couple of years was actually about £3 million, so not that expensive. So under £1 million is probably where the most demand lies. And then right at the top of the market, there is still strong demand, but it's not volume demand. So if you've got a house on the market and it's £5 million, you're probably noticing you're only going to get a viewing every 2-3 months maybe. But those buyers are obviously a little bit more robust, and they can pursue when they're ready to pursue. If your house is between sort of 1 million and 3 million, our advice really is on a case-by-case basis, because every plan, every client, every homeowner is unique. So our advice needs to be unique to you. You know, sometimes people tell us they're not in a rush, and then something happens, maybe death of a loved one, or significant health issue, and all of a sudden you are in a rush. Or maybe an opportunity abroad to buy your dream chateau, or you have a grandchild born in Australia and you decide to move there. So things change, and we recognise that, so we can give you the most up-to-date advice for you in your particular situation as is possible. So a quick chat over a cup of tea is really how it starts. Phil prefers Yorkshire, I prefer Green. We can come out to see you together or separately. We cover all areas from, Phil was in Dent, I noticed yesterday, on valuation, all the way over to probably Ingleton, the West Coast, sort of Arnside, Sandside, beautiful areas. Millen, I think the girls are up today doing a photo shoot. We don't go much past the M6, so probably not too, maybe Sedbergh and Dent, and that's kind of it really. But that's our kind of patch. Our core patch, as you know, is Lakes and Loon, and that's where we sell the most high value homes, more than anybody else in the Lake District, because that's where we specialise. And if you haven't heard me say this before, we only sell unique homes. So if you have a unique home, it makes sense to talk to us first. So look forward to speaking to some of you very soon, and thank you very much for listening to this update. Enjoy the sunshine.